Hey everybody, it is Thursday, April 5th, 2018, and this is your Kanye West News Roundup, presented by Watching the Throne, a lyrical analysis of Kanye West. I'm Chris Lambert, and I'm going to be taking you through the day's Kanye news. First up, our Lost in the World episode came out this week, and it is the best narrative and thematic deconstruction of Lost in the World that you will find, the same way that all of our episodes are the best narrative and thematic deconstruction of Kanye songs that you will find. And this weekend we're recording Bound 2 to have come out on Tuesday. So look forward to that. I think it's going to be pretty good. Pretty good. So the first article we're going to be talking about is this High Snobiety article by Candace Nemhard. And it just goes through everything we know so far about Kanye West's new album, recapping a lot of the information. Two things I wanted to point out. I do think that this is a good article for anybody that needs to catch up. Though if you're watching this, you probably are already in the know about what was going on in Wyoming. But the one problematic thing, page 6, just yesterday, Team Kanye Daily had tweeted out, never trust anything from page 6 and a couple other sites when it comes to Kanye, just because they seem to never have sources that have real information. So this just also seems like an excuse to fit in the fact that Kanye going to Wyoming is very similar to him going to Hawaii for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It's not a major detraction from this article, but just wanted to comment, beware of page 6 sources in the future. And the other thing is that it makes mention that Teyana Taylor, when doing an interview, had talked about, while remaining rather cryptic about the project, the actress did reveal that West was making a return to Polo Ye. With that said, my understanding of the interview from watching the few minutes leading up to her comments was that she's talking about her new album, which Kanye West executive produced. And the music on her album, she wanted to have a certain vibe, and that Kanye was Polo Ye when producing this album. I don't know if we can extract from that any meaning when it comes to his own album. He could do Polo Ye for Teyana and then go to Yeezus, right? I don't know if it necessarily means anything. But with that said, if you do want to read into it, TurboGrafx 16 refers to a video game system from Kanye's childhood. If he was already thinking a little bit more nostalgic with his next album, then Polo Ye is also very nostalgic and one of the earliest music identity that he had, right? That college dropout era, late registration era. So if he's already looking a little bit old school, we could be getting back into that soundscape, which would be why Teyana describes him that way, but that's pure speculation, based on not even her talking about Kanye's specific project, but just the music he's making for her project. So I don't know if we have anything there, but this one's pretty funny. So in yesterday's episode, or sometime this week, we had talked about Kanye and Kim getting a Tesla, and I had wondered, is this a byproduct of Elon talking about Kanye at South by Southwest and just, in the wake of that, gifted them a Tesla? Was there more conversations going on? Was it something that Kim and Kanye had just bought? What was the story? It seemed like there could be a really fascinating story, or there could be no story at all. And I guess I wasn't the only, lots of people on Twitter were talking about it, but Complex wrote an article saying that it was a gift from Elon Musk, not even wondering if it was, just straight up saying that it was. And given that it's Complex, you would imagine that they checked sources, did things, and in the wake of that article, Elon Musk tweeted out, "This is false," that it wasn't a gift from him. So that's pretty funny to me. They then had to update the story, and this comes the same day that Complex had also written an article about Kris Jenner was going to manage Kanye West and Travis Scott, and that's why Kanye and Travis had each fired their longtime managers, which then Kylie Jenner said wasn't true, shooting down that rumor. So Complex would have taken 2 L's in one day, and But then on the one hand, I don't really know if Elon is just trolling. Like, was he aware of what Kylie Jenner said and just saw the opportunity and went for it? Or is this completely independent? I could see it being his sense of humor. Like, look, he's smiling right there. That he just found it funny, and kind of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge to what Kylie said. Or it could seriously just be that it wasn't true. So maybe one day we'll find out. Maybe we never will. But I thought that was pretty interesting. This article on the Daily Mail goes over Kim's new eyeshadows being inspired by her wedding with Kanye. And it's just a really good excuse to kind of see a bunch of pictures from Kim and Kanye's wedding. So if you've never checked those out or never thought to, just kind of use this as inspiration or use this article as a way to get a look at some of those photos. Kanye looking fresh as fuck, looking very happy, Kim looking very happy. So it's a nice article. And then this one, it just talks about the family photo that Kim took, but it had this picture of Saint that I didn't see on her Twitter, which is a pretty cool picture. But you can see here the tweet of the family photo, which Kanye fans I saw on Our Kanye had already been making into whatchamacallit, album art. So it's a pretty stellar photo for that, like TurboGrafx 16 and then that picture. So now some Our Kanye stuff. There was this article by, I guess I'm gonna have to use my hand, about is Kanye West a rape apologist? And I've had arguments with this person in the past. Specifically, they had written a post about Kanye not being a professional when leaving the stage in Sacramento, and that Kanye should have done the professional thing and finished the show, and like, we just defend him. We have no excuse and no reason for that. And it was this long thing where I'm trying to explain mental health to somebody that doesn't get mental health to the point where like they're arguing with me that it says more about me trying to defend Kanye and how desperate I am to defend Kanye, that it proves I'm unsure about what Kanye did and that they're right. So you think it's just a troll, but they also have a lot of pro Kanye posts on there. So on the one hand, I do want to dismiss their views. On the other hand, they wouldn't be the only Kanye fan feeling this way. They're representative of somebody. So, I think the professionalism thing comes from a misunderstanding of mental health and sleep deprivation and just how severe sleep deprivation can be, especially chronic severe sleep deprivation. Not like a week of getting 2 hours each night or a week of staying up. That's bad, but there's something a bit more insidious and holistic about years of getting 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours of sleep each night, 5 hours of sleep, that really builds up over time until you do like start acting strange. I've personally had this happen and have a breakdown. So this person not understanding that aspect of things and refusing to understand it was very frustrating for me, because I do think a lot of people were sympathetic to what happened in Sacramento because they understood that there was a health aspect. It wasn't just Kanye being an asshole. It wasn't just Kanye being unprofessional. This was a man that was going through something and it just hadn't been treated yet. So this post, is Kanye West a rape apologist? On the one hand, I do want to just throw it out, but again, these are all points that I think need talked about in the Kanye community. I don't know if I have the right answers on any of them. And I don't know how much the whole cares about any of this, but there are definitely Kanye fans that do care about it. So, and I think as Kanye fans, this is something that other people who may not like him, but who care about this kind of subject matter would bring up in conversation. So it might help to think about before being in a situation where you have to talk about it in front of a group of people and may say something uneducated, stupid, anything like that. It's a sensitive subject. I go back and forth. I know Kanye had somebody in his camp, I think it was Ian Connor, who was accused of sexual assault by a lot of women and was getting a lot of shit from people. And that he was kind of in Kanye's fashion world and then was gone and then was back. And I think the same thing has happened with A$AP Bari. And I do think that there are kind of nuanced arguments you can make, like the Bill Cosby innocent tweet came after he had released Facts, where he was critical of Nike and Bill Cosby, and then right when he dropped The Life of Pablo, he apologized to Nike and then tweeted Bill Cosby innocent. So is it like just marketing? And it's not him being a rape apologist, but also then using a rape apologist remark as marketing. It gets into a very complicated territory, but sometimes as fans you need to have this discussion, or sometimes as fans you just kind of throw your hands up and like, well, that's the guy, I'm just talking about the music. People are going to have different approaches, but I just thought it was, I don't know, worth bringing up. Again, I don't have answers for it. I don't know if I'm ready to offer that deep of a perspective on it, but just more so that conversations about these topics are going to happen and probably definitely deserve to happen. But that, you'd have to be insane to not think Kanye's a rape apologist is crazy to me. I think you could say that there's been complicated relationships in Kanye's realm but not that makes him a rape apologist, right? That seems extreme from somebody that didn't understand mental health. So I don't know if nuance is their big thing to begin with. Okay, moving on. I have somewhere to be soon. And this was interesting. Zebra Himofish talked about this article claiming that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was originally going to be Dondas Boy. And I brought up the article 10 months ago. Ryan Brennan on Wake Up Mr. West, Fansided, had this story, and it seems very hyperbolic to me. Like Kanye walking into the Def Jam offices and saying that he's not going to talk to people unless they're all in a suit, and then coming back the next day and having this kid pour him a drink in a goblet. On the one hand, maybe that is Kanye showmanship at its finest, and that was his mindset then, and he would make people do that. On the other hand, it feels more elitist than what I typically associate with Kanye. Like, I typically associate with him going to, like, the Rolling Stone office and just getting on a table and rapping for people and wanting everybody in the room, not just people that are dressed in suits. So it's like a detail like that doesn't quite ring true to me. It seems strange, though Kanye's albums do go through huge shifts. The idea that he could have all of the lights be featureless and go to the opposite extreme of having so many features, or not having anybody on Runaway, then having Push on Runaway. I could see all that being the case, but then I don't know. So I take that with a grain of salt. I'm not sure it's a thing that happened. It's an interesting idea, an interesting thing to think about, but Book of, which I don't know if it's a actual Reddit account for Book of Ye, or just a fan of Book of Ye, or just has nothing to do with Book of Ye and a similar name. But they had posted that Rob Hayes, one of the co-hosts of Book of Ye, was on this Vice show and got to talk about Kanye a little bit, talk about his comedy. So I know people that listen to our podcast. There are a good number that also listen to Book of Ye. So I just thought anybody that wanted to catch Rob Hayes doing his thing and didn't know about it, that this would be nice. Excuse me. You can see a little bit more. So this is him there. There's a 7-minute video on Twitter that you can see DeZeus and Miro, where they talk about everything, and Rob talks about some of his favorite Kanye albums. And then there's the extended 11 minute interview with Rob. And then lastly, this is pretty cool. Michael 3005 talked about Naaz, a Dutch singer-songwriter, not Naaz, covering Ultralight Beam. So I haven't gotten to listen to it yet, but there's going to be a link to that down in the video. So down in the information. So if you want to give that a listen, I guess tomorrow I'll maybe have a comment on it, but that'll be there. And then, we've been getting people donating, which is really cool. So I just want to give a shout out to some of the people, whether it's $1, $3, everything's pretty exciting and helpful for us. So thank you for taking that time. And if you want to support us, via Patreon, there are tiers that get discounts on all of the merch that we're eventually going to have, whether it's the shirts, the Yeezus book. Our first goal is getting to 300 a month so we can consistently hire artists to make shirts for us. We have 2 in the works right now, one based off Runaway and one based on Hold My Liquor, that we should have by the end of April. So look forward to those, and there'll definitely be links here when those are available. And if you don't want to throw money at us, which I completely understand, you can follow us. You can subscribe here, as we're still trying to monetize the channel. So watching any videos that we have on our channel, subscribing as we try to get to the 4,000 hours and the 1,000 subscribers would mean a lot. You can also follow us on Twitter at Kanye Podcast. And leaving a review on iTunes is really helpful. That goes a long way with just, I guess, how people first encounter the podcast and our rankings on iTunes and all of that kind of stuff. So any of those things are very helpful, or just keep tuning in daily. And if you have any recommendations on how to make all of this better, I know shit about doing this, as you can probably tell. So any recommendations or requests, or even topic requests, would be helpful. And most nights I do a live stream talking Kanye and playing Overwatch, which the quality of Overwatch play is always questionable, but the sound quality I'm still figuring out, like where the mic goes and everything. It was so breathy last night. I sounded kind of scary. So those are the ways to help us out. And you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Music Play, all of that. So thanks for tuning in, and no episode on Friday or the weekend. We'll be back Monday, though. Cheers. Stay wavy.